I have my interception.
Interception was bullshit. I was moving. I thought I had something going.
I was given, and then
That corner just
jumped the route.
Well, so wide receivers coming into the league and doing the damage they're doing, absolutely incredible. But I do know this. OBJ will tease his former teammate and say, don't forget, we're tied, but I missed a few games my rookie year. If I played those,
I knew it. I didn't know what play I picked, and then
there he goes. A great read. It's a pick six and a Dolphins touchdown.
I had no idea what play I picked.
I do know this. If you're a defensive back, you have more chances to make a team now than ever because people are using 5 defensive backs, 6 defensive back packages.
That guy thought
Not
he was going to
exclusively,
stop.
but way more than before. That was a nickel package there, and what a pickoff.
Why is that? Why are they using that more?
Because more people are throwing the ball on earlier downs than ever before. This has become a passing league, and because of that, more defensive backs on the field on most plays.
Had that guy stop and put around the ball to the right there,
And that makes it 7-0 Dolphins.
Pick six, baby.
I should have done the look at the play.
So the defense creating some points, not only getting the interception, but then returning it to the end zone for the pick six. So they throw the pick six. They'll get another shot at it now as this one's in the air. Fielded about a yard deep. And he's up past the 20 to the 22-yard line.
Eli fucking. Oh, I never talked to you, so. I mean, I knew you were right that the Bears would get but that shit they did.
Here's the former 7th-round pick, Rashad Jennings. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be second and 8.
Maybe the guy's awesome to be fine, but I mean,
that's the problem.
It was such a bad. I mean, it was just
it doesn't matter. Neither one of these people are ever
that.
going to be able to have the confidence. They're agreeing to play for the Bears on a team that's going to just dominate and destroy.
And they still need 8 yards for the first here on second down.
So self-defeated by the time that they, like
so far away from
it's not the time.
Now Manning throwing on second down. And this one hauled in by Will Time. 17 yards on the pickup.
Not the quarterback.
One pick that they didn't even really need to do.
There's so many things to watch for when you play defense. And reading your keys, you always hear about that. Having your eyes in the right place. Sometimes your eyes can fool you. How about that play action there? That sprang the big guy, didn't it?
Able to dump it over the top to him.
Well, either we did, or Gase is getting, whatever the fuck, whoever's name is, he's going to be done.
We got a Kaepernick season, or we got a...
This is Jennings. And he's going to take this one up only to about the 44-yard line. 3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be second down. And let's run through the Dolphins defense.
You can say a lot of things about the great play of Kiko Alonso, but the number one thing you will say, he will hit you.
Not for half a season. He was pretty good for that entire season. Then he blew his knee in the play. But, I mean, they were pretty good for that.
They stay on the ground. Again, it's Jennings.
Yes.
30.
Gaiman! Dude, I fucking, and then the guy, the one man, I was like, oh, what am I going to do? And then
56 yards. The Giants are an extra point away from tying up this football game.
Also, what about...
And on that long run, maybe the defense caught napping a little bit.
The concentration level may not have been there with you on that one, because those types of plays, when they result like that, they're almost like big bolts of lightning, aren't they?
We could have kept Alshon Jeffrey and
So
Marshall.
that drive, 4 plays. And it ends with a Rashad
and
Jennings
Forte.
touchdown run.
I mean, they had good players at one point, but they just... Yeah, they fucking... Now it's like you don't even have any of that. You have nothing in nothing. Like, you don't have a defense.
So a tie ball game
you don't
here
have, like,
as the
you know,
kicks
there's no
away.
fucking Urlacher or Briggs or...
That'll be taken in the end zone.
It just...
And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. The Dolphins offense now heads back on the field. And following the interception, we'll see what they can put together on this drive.
I hear my old college coach right now. He always used to tell us before every game, the team making the fewest mistakes will win. What they're hoping is that last mistake is their only one of the game.
Coaches, that's all they talk about, turnovers, right?
Minimizing those and maximizing opportunities.
And he'll say, oh, I made it to 3 field goals. Yeah, like as the 5th choice after once we were back hurt.
There's a handoff to Ajayi to begin the drive. Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9.
I mean, he's good.
Like I said, he's the best player we have, but yes, he's not. Like, for the NFL, he's not the greatest.
They come up in an offset eye. To throw on second.
Oh, yeah.
Over the middle and into the hands of his receiver, Landry. It's a 10-yard pickup, and it moves the chains. And Landry just snuck into the top 10 this year in receiving yardage, 1,136, finishing the year with 94 catches.
And what makes him super dangerous is his ability to convert from being a wide receiver to a running back after making the catch. Because I've talked with a number of defensive backs in the NFL, and all of them, independent of each other, say the exact same thing. Tackling him in the open field is difficult, and he leaves an impact when you do actually bring him down. Whenever I go to a team's practice facility and watch them work, I love to watch the defensive guys in what they call pursuit drills. The ball goes either towards them or away from them. How fast will they respond? On this play, the defensive end responded better than anyone and made a really nice play.
So the D-line's going to spread out. Here's Tannehill, and now he lost the football. Tannehill loses it, and the Giants...
He caused the fumble, picked it up, and scored the touchdown. Yes! Wait,
I gotta jump that.
wait a second. You gotta wait for the play to end.
Fumble recovery and a Giants touchdown.
I'm pretty sure I'll score.
Well, we certainly haven't seen many fumble returns for a touchdown in Super Bowl history, but there you go. What a play.
And just think about it. We always talk about the best playmakers make their biggest plays on the biggest stage, and there's none bigger than in the Super Bowl. Remember Von Miller? Strip sack, knocked it free. I think Malik Jackson fell out for a touchdown. We've seen different plays like that.
I had to already hit
Super Bowls.
And this defense has done this all year long.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Wait till you play it on online. You hit the button and it takes like a full fucking like.
I mean,
half
I'm
second.
talking like.
Now goal for the extra point.
But so I feel like I was in the zone.
And he's got it. It's now a 14-7 ball game. The scoop and score, always an exciting play in football, and we witnessed it there, grabbing it off the ground and then rumbling it into the end zone for 6.
And then people didn't believe it.
I mean,
does anyone not believe that?
Here's the thing.
Do you think she's lying, or do you think that the NFL is blowing smoke up everyone's ass?
What I think is hilarious is, anyone who thinks he hasn't been getting concussions is retarded.
That's exactly, and it's not even concussions. Like
right.
that's not
and
even
then
the worst part.
Second of all, though,
definitely,
there also is a chance that she is saying concussions when it might not actually be a concussion. However,
but that doesn't matter.
That's all irrelevant.
What she means is like, but he's coming home and he has headaches. He's getting
even if she never said that. Anyone who thinks that he's never had a concussion in the NFL is dumb.
Or that they don't cover it up. That's the whole
even
point.
dumber.
And that's why it's like
they don't think they cover
clearly
it up.
when the NFL comes out with their statement after that, and there's like
the NFL is
it's like
the
biggest,
the NFL is so powerful they can cover up anything. They covered up head trauma for years.
Dude,
They've covered up
steroid
like, use for
it's like
still doing it.
And that's why it's almost worse for them to do that.
I'm not even joking. There are people that have started to call the NFL out on their stuff, and those people literally end up dead. Like you can read it, like it's kind of conspiracy stuff, but I mean, like
because of suicide, but that's a whole other thing. But I mean, even even with like just the drugs that they took just to like not just painkillers and shit, but like they would take fucking get you up drugs and shit.
Well,
too. With the fucking
my dad somehow nobody asked any questions about what the supplements they gave.
They were putting them.
My dad went to Notre Dame weighing was a safety weighing like 120 pounds. And by the time he was a sophomore, he was a giant linebacker.
120 pounds.
Yeah. He was like 120 pounds. He was like
graduated
super skinny in high
fucking
school. Yes.
High school?
I mean, he probably was more. He was probably like 150 pounds, I would assume. But
I was like 120 pounds is not even a 125
a skinny
pounder,
dude.
Like, think about that.
But he was a skinny dude.
No, I mean,
he was like
skinny,
Tim.
yeah.
Like he was super
probably
skinny.
like 140 at least.
But I mean, by the time he was done, he was like a massive 250 pound linebacker playing person. But he was just like, I mean, they weren't taking crazy
shit. If the NFL just came out and said, yes, there's a severe risk of fucking football, blah, 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 then...
His ordeal might be over, but the trauma is still visible.
Then they're way better off than if they try and keep covering it up, because now they're at negligence for being in a lawsuit when they know that there was problems.
There's a lot of stuff they cover, and it's like Junior Seau when he killed himself.
Well, that was still in the time when they were obviously didn't even really know. Blah, blah, blah. But now all the studies are there, so it's just like just admit it, let it go, boom, and then you say
he may have had CTE, but they also don't address the fact that he also was probably a 15, 20-year steroid user that makes him like a fucking roid head too. I'm just saying. I mean, obviously,
or fucking just shifting his fucking.
But I'm just saying the NFL covers up a lot of stuff.
But
they can't. They're super cool.
And you can bet they're preaching two hands on the ball here as the
they
kicks
don't even
away
need to
following
have
that fumble return.
Protocols if they just say
this fielded a few yards into the end zone.
This is what you're getting
and
into.
no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line.
You want to do that? Why the fuck?
We get a look now
it's kind of like my thing. I don't give a shit if you do steroids in the MLB. That's totally fine with me. If you want to entertain me by getting roided out and baking baseballs out of the fucking park, that's like they didn't have fucking machines and like all of the fucking powerlifting that they have nowadays. They didn't have supplements. They didn't have fucking all the trainers. If you want to take it to that level, you're a professional. If that's the level that you want to go, no one has to do that. You can be a totally normal guy and still be a goddamn great athlete and whatnot. But if maybe there's other people out there doing it. Well, that's called being professional. If you can
they come out with one back and three tight ends. Now it's a giant.
Some people don't,
to the 29.
But fuck, if you want to do that for your entertainment and to make millions of dollars and you know the risk, how can you not know the risk?
Second down to the offense in search of 6 yards.
You can outright deny it, but that's not. You know what people are.
They stay on the ground. Again, it's a giant. And he is going to lose yardage here. So he loses 3 yards there. Now third down. And the offense there, the O-line, everybody really on offense, they were just manhandled at the point of attack.
Yeah, you could pretty much call them all out, couldn't you? Almost by name, right? That was a very tough sequence for the offensive line. But how about that defensive front creating a new line of scrimmage and creating a lost yardage possibility?
And 5 in the secondary now for the Giants on third down. Throwing on third down, Tannehill.
Yes! There's no way.
There's no way the guy's
catching the ball.
It looked like they had something there, but I think that he was thinking about running with the football.
You know what I've always thought about? What happens if someone comes down, right? They have to land, like if you catch them, and then fucking they land in the end zone, and I fucking catch the guy, and then run out of bounds and throw him out. You think? But he's not landing. You can't catch the ball like this in fucking the.
I mean, catch it in the air, the ball crosses that line.
You're in the air, no.
And now the punt team couldn't get ready in time, and this is going to be a delay.
Cross the line on the ground, you can just reach over. It's just the same as like reaching over.
But not on a pass.
I mean, if you catch it, well, I guess, yeah. Yeah, I guess.
To land with your feet in. And so, like,
right,
that's why it's like it used to be like you push people out automatically, you know? But what if instead of pushing them out, you catch the guy, and then you're a goddamn beast, you're like the middle linebacker, boom! It's like it's sort of your fucking wide receiver, you just push them out, and it's fuck that. You know? Because sometimes they go up for those balls, like, super high.
I think technically, if you caught him in the air
and then pushed him and took him out,
and drove him out, I think it's an incomplete pass.
That's what I was saying, right?
Because
I can imagine something happening.
Because
that.
I mean,
the fridge is out there.
Because if you're not on the end zone, someone's on the sideline, and they go to catch it, and you hit them after they touch it, and they fall out of bounds. They don't say.
So on now is the Miami punter Matt Darr to kick this one away.
That's what I'm saying.
It's Odell
that's
Beckham.
like a good defensive strategy, right? If you could pull that off,
if you could pull it off, I'm sure. Because if you're on the sidelines, you're going to push them out of bounds.
That's what I'm saying.
Beckham, the return. 12 yards on the return that time. And it'll be Giant football 1st and 10. New York set to take the field. And they were able to punch it in the end zone last time. They'll be looking to do that again here for the defense. Obviously, they'll be looking to stop them from punching it back in the end zone.
It always is punch, counter punch, isn't it? And which team has the advantage? Well, let's just go back. Last time on offense, they rolled downfield, got into a good rhythm. You can see a little more bounce in and out of the huddle. You can see the sideline really get into the game. So defensively, you're thinking to yourself, how do we take that away from them? How do we get the advantage back? Let's see what they do.
Yeah.
And this when we were playing last time or something?
Yeah.
The second day of his visit to Saudi Arabia is expected to underline the need to confront extremism. Let's get more on that now. The visit of Donald Trump to Riyadh and his speech to Gulf leaders later. We can cross now to Riyadh and get more from our security correspondent Frank Gardner. Do we have a draft of his speech yet, Frank? Because during his election campaign, he was very critical of Hillary Clinton for not using that phrase radical Islamic terror. I mean, is that
There was
something
maybe I didn't ask yet.
Possibly not those exact words, Tim. First of all, no, we don't have a draft of the speech, but we do have some idea
Something about
what
like
it's about. And it's about Islam. It's
hitting
about
someone with a
He's going to be
pitch or
addressing not
something.
just Gulf Arab leaders, but the leaders of more than 40 Islamic and Arab countries here in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. And the speech is going to be talking about the need for
The new rule, where you don't have to throw the pitches to walk them.
intolerance and the need to
Now you just say intentional walking.
no names have been mentioned. No particular country has been singled out for this, but I think this is a high-risk territory here because, for
I can't believe on the bottom of this news it talks about Peppa Pig. It's like announcing, it's like if they announced Paw Patrol had a new season on the fucking ticker.
What is it? Who?
Peppa Pig, which is like it's like a little kid's cartoon.
It's huge and fucking.
I guess. I mean, it's
I don't
fucking
know what it was. There was something in baseball where I was like, you could do this and get the fuck away with it.
2009 delivered a landmark speech in Cairo. That went down very well, but it led to enormous disappointment. So I think people are sort of slightly holding their breath here.
I want to say it had something to do with hitting a batter with a ball.
Presumably high reward as well.
Some
Something worth
Come up with, I think pressure is always the first way to go.
You love pressure.
I love
We'll
it.
see if they dial it up this drive. Really good defensive effort. They were all over that little swing pass out to the right side before lost yardage.
Terrific read, better
Lost
execution,
yardage, really?
and done with a lot of enthusiasm, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
They saw it all the way, ran to the football, and caused a nice play for lost yardage.
Now it's Jennings. And he'll get this up to about the 40. And he's able to get more than half of what they needed. That brings up a 3rd and 5.
Run up the middle.
Try to get one more in here before the quarter breaks. So 1 quarter down here in Super Bowl 51. 14 alongside Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin, and it's the Giants with a football here as we begin quarter number 2. They've got a 3rd down and 5 to start things out. They come out here in the eye. Oh, design run for their wideout. And not much room to operate as he'll get this up only to about the 41. Only a yard on the pickup there, and it's going to leave him with a 4th down.
Even though positive yardage was gained on that play, I think the defense has to be happy. Obviously, they were prepared for some trick plays coming into the game, and they looked very aware that those could happen on any given down.
And that one hits a little too close to the goal line, and it continues into the end zone for a touchback. Out comes the Miami offensive unit now. They get set to take over. And a tight game after punting last time. See if they can get something going on this drive.
As they head to the field now, with the game this close, you got to feel there's a sense of urgency for them going on offense right now. But they have to do it without letting panic creep in and affect their play.
They come out with 1 back and 3 tight ends. Blitz coming, and down he goes. Keenan Robinson. Tough to handle on that blitz. He gets him for a loss of 5. Man, he got in there so quickly, Charles. What could the offense have done to adjust and account for that?
But what you're hoping is that you figure out and you see and get a clue that maybe there's going to be some pressure coming at you, and you change the blocking schemes. Maybe you go to max protection. The biggest one is maybe you bring your running back in to try and keep you clean. But in that case, that didn't happen. 0 accountability, and a sack resulted.
They come up in an offset eye. Now Tannehill throws a quick hitter on the slant. That's complete. The reception good for 7. It's 3rd down.
In today's football, where receivers break tackles, make people miss, get upfield for the extra yardage, when you see a play like that where it's caught and he's dropped on the spot, that's a big-time play by the defense.
Well, still in search of the 1st down after that last completion. And defensively, it's a nickel formation here on 3rd down and 9. Tannehill. And he hits his target. It's Kenny Stills. They'll give him 8 on the play, and that'll bring up 4th down.
So much about offense is what you call hidden yardage.
You're not down, dude. He got tackled his body through this way, but the ball was behind him. He's catching the ball on his back hip. As he's going down, he's not pulling the ball forward like this.
Make a big play. You know, they create a play, run after catch. They did a really nice job there of limiting that and keeping them from a 1st down.
Now stopped him in his tracks. And the coach has decided to throw the red flag. He will challenge this play.
See how the ball's behind him? He didn't let him do his tricks and get him to reach. He didn't get past that. That ball was behind that yard line. It's not even past the white. Oh, it's not.
Well, he challenged the play. It did not pay off.
And that means he lost a timeout in that challenge.
And as a coach, you hate that. Don't know if you took the advice of the player. You threw it yourself, but it didn't go your way.
At the end of the day, it all comes back to the head coach. He has the final determination on whether to actually challenge the play or not. In this case, it didn't pay off for him.
And that's got to be so heartbreaking. You throw that flag, you probably feel really confident, and then all of a sudden, boom, you lose the challenge.
Yeah, when you take a look at it, you're throwing that flag because you believe you're going to be right. And when it comes back the other way, you have to regroup. It seems like, and it is a gamble on their side of the field, but they have supreme confidence in picking it up on a quarterback sneak. You can just feel it from this team.
To throw is Tannehill. Looking left side, that's caught by Landry. Give him 9 there on the 1st down completion.
That was a nicely run slant route, and what the receiver's trying to do is make the defender think he's going upfield for a deeper route, and then breaks it off, usually after about 3 to 4 steps, and cuts towards the middle of the field. And now what he's trying to do is use his body to keep the defender away from the football and give the quarterback a really nice target.
And that's caught inside the 30. That goes for a gain of 31. Well, we know he's got the speed there. He needed the speed and the hands. A great catch.
And because of that speed, you have to respect it as a defender. So you have to either play off or make sure you're somehow in contact with him, and he's able to do exactly what you said. Use the speed to his advantage and go up and get the football. That's a big-time play right there.
Tannehill now, they give to Ajayi. And he'll get this one down to about the 27. Just a yard on the 1st down carry, so it's 2nd and 9.
And that's the type of play that'll fire up the defense, hold them to 1 yard on a first down run. It'll be interesting to see if the offense decides to press the run at all, or if they'll abandon it now after gaining only 1 on that play.
And ready now for 2nd and 9.
They're gonna pass formation on that.
Now Tannehill. And that's complete.
God
it's
damn it.
Sims. 4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a 3rd down.
How about the timing on that one? Boy, they were in sync, weren't they? 3-step drop, balls out of his hands, right to the tight end. Nice completion, just like they do it in practice.
This is not a nice completion. We fucking ran right out of the mouth.
And on 3rd and 5, this will be the 8th play of the drive. Looks like the defense in press coverage here.
3rd and 5, so they bring in an extra defensive back.
Expecting pass. Here's Tannehill. And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete. Deion Sims is tight end, the intended target. And it's 4th down.
Putting pressure on the guy throwing the football is always good, but when you can couple that with contact on him that leads to an incompletion, as we just saw there, that's winning football.
And Frank's kick is good. And they'll cut the lead back down to 4 now at 14-10. So in the end, they had the ball for 10 plays, but the drive only yields 3 points.
Yeah, they were able to move the football, but the defense stiffened once their backs were to the end zone, and they were able to hold them to just 3.
Now it's Franks following the made field goal to send it away. That's fielded in the end zone. And he'll make it across the 20 as his guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line. New York set to take the field. They're out in front. Last time they had to punt it away. We'll see if they can add to their lead now.
They don't want to go out and punt it away again. This team now wants to get...
What the what?
Scandal plays it every time they get together.
Okay,
like,
yeah, I got you.
It's like this. It's the fucking saddest thing. Like I hate it. I hear it and I want to turn it off.
It happens on Grey's Anatomy.
You know that song I'm talking about, or you don't know what I'm talking about at all?
No, I don't. But I think you're talking about the music playing around the scenes to make them dramatic. Is that what you're talking about?
Talking about this. This is a long version of it. This is the original version of it. Usually this comes in, but you don't really notice that it's coming in like that when it plays. But you'll know it as soon as you hear the first note, and once you hear that first note, it's like... You don't know this song or no?
I don't know.
You don't know this song?
I mean, I've never noticed this song playing in the background to remember it.
Seriously?
I mean, what are you talking about? It just plays during the episodes?
Yes! You don't know this song?
No. I really don't.
Dude.
Am I retarded?
Yes.
I mean, when is it
You are
playing?
retarded.
When does it play?
All the time. Anytime there's some dramatic thing going on with fucking...
I know there's music playing, but I never realized it was the same thing every time. That this was it.
Look, it's called Fitz and Olivia's Love Theme. This is basically how it starts on all of their things. Let me find... Watch this, I'll find it right now. That's the end of it. You saw this one, right?
Yeah.
Wait. I think because this is our one. I think So it happens right at the end of I think the first one. It's right when Fitz goes to leave.
Yeah.
Or when
I
they're
really
in
didn't
bed, I
know
think.
what it was.
Or like when right before. I mean, this is like it's fucking play. It literally like it makes me sad every time I hear it. Like, it's because of this, and I don't know if it's because of this. Because when I started watching this, I was with this foreign girl. It made me start watching this. I don't know what it is, but something is about that song. It's like they say it's a love song, but to me, it's like the saddest song.
I really can't even.
Yes,
picture
right
it.
here.
Oh, okay. I mean, so I didn't know that there was a song.
Watch. Let's see.
Well, I mean, I didn't know it played that much often.
It always starts like here's the dramatic part. Ready?
I didn't.
You saved me.
I thought this was terrible acting.
Yes, he
Like,
sucks
Fitz,
at life.
He's so bad.
But I kind of he's like I know his role, but like I'm like why the fuck would she like him? But also she's gotten like fucking frumpy butt. So she's really hot on the face though, and like she also does. She also tries to do this thing like they outline her lip now. Like
I don't think she's that hot.
This one's for real.
See how you hear that playing in the background? That's what was the beginning of the thing, but you don't really notice it, right? You never. But then when you hear the actual piano come in,
Okay, it's for real.
you can hear that.
But I had no idea that it was like the same all the time.
You don't. You don't.
No.
This is like that song like impacts you because it always like this song comes on. This song. They always,
guess I don't.
when these two are like in like some sort of weird. It doesn't play not necessarily every, but like every. See, it starts there, and like every time there's like some sort of like crazy dramaticness, but supposedly it's their love song. But it's been happening like every.
I guess I understand. I don't like Fitz. I think he sucks.
Then I was like, I'm like, there is no motherfucking way that this shit happens because this dude, like, his wife is about to be, his ex-wife is about to be the president. His chief of staff is the chick that's like banging his like. Come on. It's like, Mr. President.
Chief of staff.
But you hear the song. You don't know this song, like.
I mean, I heard this.
Even
song
though this is supposed to be like a
playing,
love moment,
that
to
it
me,
was
it's like this is sad as fuck. But this is where I was like, she is getting big. Like her hips are really big and wide.
She had a baby though, right?
Well, maybe that's why. Maybe that's why. Then she's still. But like, when you see the backside, that you can see like they fucking like totally altered her. Or they try and not show her ass a lot. Or like, and then when you see her, she's in these coats all the time that covers her ass. You never get a good ass shot of her anymore.
Yeah, I mean, the president's wife,
Chief of staff is
his mistress.
And now they're kissing in front of the entire like press thing.
Doesn't work like that.
They're like completely making out like. But yeah, so you hear the song. I know I could find it. I'm like,
yeah. I mean, I guess I just didn't. I mean, like I've heard the song. Like I heard it when it was playing, but like if I heard that like again later, I'm not gonna be
Dude,
like, oh, that's
me,
a scandal song.
I'm like, as soon as I hear it, I get emotionally like just straight like I'm like, fuck, this world sucks.
I didn't even realize it was the same one.
How about this? Did you ever notice in the they don't do it really as much anymore, but they always have Liv still wearing black or white, and now she wears a combination of them. But in the beginning, she used to always wear white when she was like good, and then she turned bad. Like then when they like turned you, like she like seemed like she was.
I think she is bad.
Well, yeah. Well, they all are bad. That's why like that's kind of like it's like House of Cards. There's not always fuckers.
Cushion, put people away. They want to run their offense and have it end up in the end zone.
Well, not just run it, but they do it in like a shady ass manner to get it. I also bought a Windows code for like $18. Maybe it was like
They'll begin the drive with Rashad Jennings. And he'll fight forward to about the 27-yard line. A gain of 3, second down. 2 minutes to play here in the first half. We're back to Super Bowl 51 after this. reminder, coming up at the intermission, we'll get highlights of this Super Bowl from Larry Ridley and the crew in Orlando with our EA Sports halftime report.
Oh my God, he intercepted that! Yeah, I was like, that was a fullback. How the fuck did that happen?
That's sort of a second quarter to forget for him. Now 2 picks in this frame.
Almost as if the first one that he threw, he couldn't shake, couldn't get it out of his head. He ends up throwing a second one as a result.
Compounds the mistake a little bit.
Yeah, you got to be able to forget, compartmentalize, whatever you want to call it, and move on. He hasn't been able to do so here in the second.
Then the Dolphins getting set to go here. And a methodical drive last time, but they couldn't get that knockout blow. They had to settle for 3.
But you got to like what they've been doing along the way.
No! Why? Why did you not pick that up?
As you said, they didn't get the knockout blow here, but that doesn't mean it can't come later in the game on another possession. And the defense on the other side,
maybe a little gas,
yeah,
right?
a little tired, and if nothing else, they just feel relieved getting off field, only giving up 3. They don't exactly feel like they've handled the offense.
Offense looking to avoid a 3rd and long. It's 2nd and 10. They come up in an offset eye. They'll toss it to Ajayi. And some room to maneuver.
Yeah.
One guy for the outside,
Dolphins touchdown. Ajayi, a 23-yard run. And the Dolphins are going to jump back in front.
Well, partner, that was another explosive run, and one thing I've learned in our time in this game, yes, the offensive line has to get a lot of credit, but for big runs to occur, the wide receivers have to block well downfield.
And then you have to have a good guy carrying the ball too, right?
Oh, without a doubt. You need that difference maker lugging the rock.
And this one through the uprights and good.
All right.
Well, that drive started with not a whole lot of real estate in front of them. In plus territory, excellent field position. 2 plays later, pay dirt. Frank's now on to kick it away after the touchdown. This will be fielded on the back line of the end zone. And he'll very wisely take a knee here as they'll bring this one out to the 25 on the touchback. Here comes the Dolphins defensive unit now. Now the interception for them the last time, and that turned into 6 points.
You think during their break they reminded the offense that, hey, we helped you guys out a little bit, right? You know, they want to see if they can do it again for them. They're putting together an entire team game by how they're playing on defense.
So the interception the last drive, what will happen here? Trying to shake off the interception from the last drive. He'll look to throw. Over the middle to Beckham. They call it a gain of 19, and it moves the chains. And now it looks like they're going to be in the hurry-up. Manning now on 1st down. Hits his target, the tight end, Will Tye. And taking it across midfield and inside the 40. Now the Dolphins are going to take another timeout here. So that means they're down to 1 remaining here as we head toward halftime.
All right. Because they're just marching up the field and maybe with a different defense.
So the offense has it 1st and 10. Manning now on 1st down. He finds his target, Beckham. And brought down, but able to get it to their 30-yard line. And the offense moving quickly to the line. Throwing on 1st down is Manning. It's a short one here, complete to his tight end. A gain of 6 there on 1st.
Obviously, football. So what you got to do? You got to kind of down focus, don't you think?
The interception last drive. There he hits the reliable target. So the offense readies for a 2nd and 4. Manning to throw once more.
Oh, God damn it.
If you do that over the top, though, I
the
don't know
intended
why.
receiver, and it'll bring up 3rd down.
I wouldn't be shocked at all right now if there's a look of surprise on the big fella's face because he had the route that he wanted, running the corner, and usually he's able to use his body and catch the football, but a really nice play by the defenders, able to knock it away.
They come up in an empty set. 4 wide receivers, 1 tight end. Again, it's Manning. Oh, he almost had the rare interception. The big fella couldn't hang on, though. Incomplete.
He's got to be kicking himself right there. His team's already picked off 2 passes. That would have been the 3rd in the game. And, boy, they've really played well attacking the football.
Yeah!
And the 11-year veteran bangs it through. And that will knot things up here late in the first half. So it's a 7-play drive, but it stalls out in the end.
Let's credit the defensive front 7. They were a little leaky at the start of the drive, but they stiffened toward the end.
So we're right back where we started, all even as the kick's away. This is taken at the 3. And a pretty good return here. He'll be stopped just shy of the 25 at the 24-yard line. Looking to jam the receivers at the line here. Press coverage look defensively. Defense really showing respect to the deep ball here, playing off the receivers. On 1st and 10, Tannehill over the middle and into the hands of his receiver Landry. And he'll go down just shy of the 25 at the 24-yard line. Charles, on the slant, you always need good ball placement. They got it there.
Brandon, the quarterback, put it in the exact perfect spot, right to the upfield shoulder of the receiver, and he used his body to keep the defender away.
To throw on 2nd down is Tannehill. He's going to air one out.
Oh, shit.
It's intercepted. Picked up by Janoris Jenkins. And his guys have got it back at the closing stages of the first half. That late in the clock, 2nd quarter, why not just run it a time or 2 and get it into the locker room?
What you're saying makes absolutely perfect sense. Run it and get out of there. But I'm just wondering if the pressure of today's NFL and the high-powered offenses that you're facing may force them into saying, let's try and get some more points.
Flushed out right. And bringing it in right side here.
No, time out!
So
No! I went down. I'm trying to. I was going to get the kick. That was exactly what I wanted.
Over to our headquarters in Orlando, where we check in with Larry
Wrong
Ridley.
play. I had 1 second when the thing was going on.
Thanks, Brandon. I'm Larry Ridley, and welcome to our EA
That was the
halftime report.
Did you seriously just skip the halftime of the Super Bowl? Who does that? It's a Super Bowl. Watch the halftime show. All right, here we go. 3rd quarter action now. So both teams have their marching orders, and we'll get going again here in quarter number 3. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. The Giants offense now gets ready to head back onto the field. First half showed us some pretty good offense. Tie game. We'll see what the second half brings.
And it'll be interesting because I think both sides feel pretty good about what their offenses are doing. Gotta wonder what adjustments are being made defensively to try and get a spark and maybe slow down the other side.
But here, do you change up anything on this opening drive?
Not offensively, you don't. You got everything going your way. You've probably prepared for maybe some change-ups you might expect, but overall, you like what your game plan's showing you.
They begin the drive with Jennings on the ground. And he'll fight forward to about the 27-yard line. Give him a couple on the carry there, 2nd and 8.
That's a good play by the guys on the defensive side of the ball. Held him to a gain of 2. And that changes the playbook a little bit now for the guy calling plays. 2nd and 8. Now he's got to probably think about going to the air instead of maybe staying with the ground game.
Now Manning throwing on 2nd down.
Yeah.
And the hit jarred it loose. It's incomplete. The Pro Bowler Odell Beckham, the intended receiver, and it's third down.
We know it's not an easy job to go out and catch passes when people are trying to tackle you and knock the ball away. But the bottom line is, that's a pass he's got to have and a pass he should have caught.
A nickelback added defensively as they look to stop this 3rd and 8. To throw is Manning. A screen here to Vereen.
Screen, I was just fucking, I was on go.
Nobody else blocked.
That'll take us to 4th down.
But down with the screen pass on 3rd down, and for a second, it looked like it was all going to come together, and they had a chance to pick up a 1st down, but the defense got there.
These 3 dudes, there's 77 needs to search someone out. He just runs by everyone. Then he picks up a fucking thing. What are you doing? You're a goddamn lineman. You're good at the first people.
Here's Brad Wing now. On for his 2nd punt. He'd take a repeat of his 1st. He gets this one away, and boy, it's another boomer.
Yeah, Greg.
And this will do the job nicely. That'll be
Why did I catch
passes
that
just
one?
inside the 10-yard line. Here's the Giant defense now as they head back onto the field. And the interception the last time, their 3rd takeaway of the game, Charles.
They're just flocking to the football so well. And not only are they doing that, they're making big-time plays and taking it away from them. Big hits, big plays. They're looking very good in this ball game.
You said flocking, flying to the football. Coaches always use that, don't they?
They really do. It's almost as it goes back to the old when they click off
What
the
the
frame
fuck,
at the end of
man?
the play. They want to see all 11
Catch the
defensive
fucking
guys
ball.
in that picture. Well, they went for the big play there, but that drop could really hurt their momentum.
So 2nd and 10 here. Back to throw, Tannehill. They set up the screen to Ajayi. Muscles him off. Brought down, but not before they're able to get it up to the 25. That one good for 16, and the drive will continue.
They ran that one well, and not only did they pick up a nice chunk of yardage on the screen, they sent a message to the defense. Rush the passer all you want, but you better be careful. We can hit you going back the other direction.
And no press coverage here. They are backing off in the secondary. And caught by Cameron right side. Give him a couple on the catch. It's 2nd and 8.
And there's a completion to the tight end. And look at the size of these players nowadays. At that spot, 6'4", 6'5", and up. A lot of guys used to be basketball players, somehow came back to football. That's really good for the game of football. You're getting better athleticism, great hand-eye coordination, guys who know how to control their bodies when they run their routes.
Let's see what the offense comes with here. 2nd and 8. They come up in an offset eye. Again, Tannehill. Well, nearly picked.
I came in there.
And maybe lucky there. This guy doesn't drop any defensively. 3rd down.
I know that interception was dropped, and it would have been their 3rd of the game. And I will guarantee you, in the huddle, on the bench, all the defensive guys have been talking about is, we've got this guy right where we want him. Who's going to get the next one? It almost becomes a challenge, and they've missed a golden opportunity.
So a 2nd down incompletion now brings up 3rd down. They'll come out in the pistol. Throwing on 3rd down, Tannehill. And for a 3rd time tonight, he's intercepted. A great read, and it's picked off.
So that's back-to-back drives where they're throwing an interception. Ordinarily, we look at the offense and say, what's going on with your scheme? Maybe we should look at the defense and just give them a whole lot of credit. They've got them frustrated right now.
Here's the Giant offense now making their way back out onto the field. And they're coming off a 3-and-out, my friend.
I think they've got to look at that play sheet and go to a spot that they haven't gone before. Time to shake things up a little bit to try and get this offense moving.
Okay, so how do you do that? How do you shake things up?
You look at what you've called before, realize it hasn't worked
Go to
so
something
well,
else.
and maybe try and find one of those special plays from one of your better players, and maybe try and hit something big and get things going in the excitement area.
Second down following the run. Beckham, the lone receiver right. Manning to throw on second down. To Shepard, complete over the middle. And down inside the 15, shy of the 10. And boy, they had high praise for this rookie receiver when we asked the coaches about him, didn't they?
They certainly did, and obviously they liked his measurables, otherwise they wouldn't have brought him onto the team. Height, weight, speed, all of that. But how about what they really said? Competitiveness. That's what they really liked about him. The way he goes after the football, competes for it, and decides when it's in the air, it's his and only his.
Throwing on first down is Manning. That's caught at the 2.
No!
It's a fumble.
Fumble!
Not even a
His
touchdown.
guys will get the football back. And at this stage in the game, sure, you wanted the touchdown. You're already in the red zone, but, boy, you squandered a chance to at least get the field goal there, so no points out of this, and we stay tied.
Very disappointed team. No one more disappointed than the kicker who thought he had a chance to be the hero of the day. All they had to do was trot him out on the field. They didn't even give him an opportunity.
The Dolphins offense now working their way back onto the field. And following the interception, just any interception, are you a little bit more cautious when you start that next drive or no?
Go, go, go!
He's going to go. He's at the 50, the 30, 20, 10.
Yeah!
In for a Miami touchdown.
Woo! A 97-yard touchdown. Halfback sweep to the house. Oh, yeah.
Take the lead.
Yeah.
And that run massively increased his production in this game, and now he's over 100 yards.
And break out your calculator, partner, because his yards per carry went up
It's
significantly, right?
skyrocketed.
Big-time jaunt all the way to the end zone.
Boom. That's how you
And they will take a 7-point lead now. Those are the ones the offensive coordinators dream about. One-play drives from that distance. What an effort. It results in the touchdown. Frank's now on to kick it away after the touchdown. That'll be taken in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. The Giants offense now, they get ready to head back on the field. And they'll be looking to atone for last time's mistake of fumbling inside the red zone. Certainly they don't want to do that again.
And so much emphasis placed on red zone offense. I mean, you have periods devoted in practice just for that, because everyone knows how vital it is to put points on the board when you've entered that part of the field. And to come away with nothing, that's difficult for a team to handle.
And difficult, and now we'll see if they can make it less difficult on themselves on this drive. They go play action here on first down. Rolling to his right. And for a third time tonight, he's intercepted. It's the former Seahawk, Byron Maxwell.
I ran him this way. I tried to run him back the other way, but then he still
threw a big-time no-no in throwing that pick. Rolling right, throwing across his body.
And you know that your dad taught you that in the backyard when you were a tyke.
Yep.
Don't do it.
When you were a tyke.
Every now and then you get away with it.
They said he was throwing across the body,
This
that's why I
time,
intentionally,
not the case.
when I knew
So
he was
now
going
here
to
come the
I intentionally
Dolphins.
turned him.
And they hit the
ran
home
him
run
back
last drive.
that
One play
direction as
on
I
the
was
ground
throwing.
all the way to the house. Now the defense, maybe they're expecting a run here.
Partner, I love your description, because when we talk about hitting the home run, we're usually thinking about a passing play, aren't we? Something in the air, deep ball. But how about them just taking it big-time jaunt? Now if you're coming back out, now they've established this run game, the play-action pass could very well be open.
Now a toss play. It's Ajayi. And he gets it down close to the 10-yard line. Give him 9 on the carry that time, and they're set up with a 2nd and 1. And third quarter here, you've got the lead. This is where that strong run game can really benefit you. Stayed in bounds there, kept the clock going.
I like all the points you just made there. And if you throw the football and it's incomplete, now you've stopped the clock and you've helped out the guys on the other side of the ball. So keep it in the hands of those runners. Keep moving it. Keep grinding the clock.
And they'll lose a yard that time, and that's going to lead to a third down.
But that certainly felt like an example of a defense just saying, okay, we've had enough. We've gotten mashed all night long. About time we got a good play in. But flip it over to the offensive side. They've got to be really upset that they allowed a play like that to happen. They were pitching such a great game. They want to keep it going.
And now a sneak, Tannehill.
I don't know
Give
what
him
just
2
happened.
yards there as they're set up now with a first and goal.
3rd and 2, and they go quarterback sneak. I know they got it. I have to believe the head coach had said, this is 4-down territory for us. We're going to try and pick it up no matter what.
I'm thinking the same thing because sneak, you only think inches, a foot, maybe 2 full yards. That's tough to get done.
Yeah, normally 3rd and 2, that's quarterback draw, not quarterback sneak.
Here's a Johnny. And for one of the first times tonight, he's going to be held up at the line of scrimmage. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down.
From our vantage point, that was just one bad play by the offensive line in a series of really good ones tonight. But I know that they're going to be really ticked off. It's a lot like a baseball pitcher losing a no-hitter late in the game.
They'll try the air now with Tannehill. So a nice job to break the one tackle, but not much daylight after that. As he's brought down.
It's got to be a fucking loss of yards.
Come on.
An extra defensive back on the field here for 3rd and goal. They'll try to run it in. It's Williams. And this play doesn't go anywhere. Backwards, losing yardage to the 11. He loses 5 full yards to bring up 4.
Brandon, I believe that they were in 4-down territory, and that's what they were thinking. But after the loss, I've got to kick the field goal. No way I'm going to go for it in this situation. But you know, some of these coaches, they're extremely unpredictable, and they may go ahead and press it.
Now it's Andrew Franks on for Miami. And Frank's kick is good. And the Dolphins will add on to their lead. So after the pick, they can't capitalize for 6, but they do get 3.
And I know in this situation, most of us wanted to focus on the offense. You know what side of the ball I played on. Let's give that defense a lot of credit. Taking it over in a sudden change situation and shutting them down.
Streak. I audible.
Fielded about a yard deep. And he will be brought down here at about the 17-yard line. Back now here on EA Sports. It's the Giants with possession of the football but needing points as we start quarter number 4.
Yeah, not catch it, but then they have to go back and shoot and get it and touch them. Because he really draw.
Trying to shake off the interception. He'll look to throw. It's hauled in by Shepard. And he's taken down, but not before he gets this across the 25-yard line. And just a small glimpse there as to why they like this rookie so much.
And that's why they lit up a little bit in our meetings with the coaching staff,
Yeah, when we talked about him, they did.
Yeah, you know, they like his work ethic. You know, this guy's running every route well in the route tree and getting better at it all the time, really honing his game. They expect a pretty good jump out of him as things continue to move on.
Now a play fake here on 1st down. And he finds a man on the crossing route. That one goes for 24 yards.
Partner, it's a lot of fun watching the NFL now, isn't it? Because when the big fella runs routes, it used to be when we were kids, he'd run about 3 different routes, and that was it. Now he can run anything and catch the balls we just saw there.
They go play action for Jennings. Now Manning. He's got his man on the crossing route. 17 yards on the pickup there. The drive will continue. It's a first down.
And after that completion, you can understand why so many teams in the league are emphasizing speed on defense at every position. The tight ends have created so many tough matchups now. If you can't run with a tight end as a linebacker, this is going to be the result every time.
On play action, it's Manning. He's going to fire one
Get
deep,
him.
middle of the field.
Oh!
It's caught.
Yeah!
For a giant touchdown.
That was what I needed, Greg. That's what I
Sterling
looked for.
Shepard, 31 yards. And the Giants have got it back to a one-score game. And there, Charles, he lined up out left, ran the post, got it over the middle, and the rest is
When you know you got to
And
get
you have to love the scheme that they just showed there, because if you're going to run a deep post, you ordinarily have to get a safety out of the middle of the field, and you do it one of two ways.
A lot
Either
of
by running
people
route.
think when you pitch off of the stepping foot that you're throwing with, and that when you throw from the foot that you're stepping on like this, but in reality, as a pitcher, you more release the ball and you get more leverage and more or less room from the release when you release the ball, not
Like it's
here,
when you're pushing with that leg.
but when this leg comes up and even, so that when you release the ball, your whole you're releasing. Like I swear to God, this is how I used to cheat all the time. I thought it was like you push here off of the mound, you step here, right? But you're still holding on the ball. When you push off of the mound, that's when you start releasing the ball. Is when you release through, you're like this, releasing it. Where this foot is coming forward. After you've already planted this foot.
Yep.
So you're getting you're changing, but most people would just they step here and they throw the ball like that, and you're like, dude, maybe when you're in the field or something, if you step through, you're shortening the distance of how the length of to the batter.
Yep, that's why those long, tall.
At him that carries him away from it, or you either freeze him in the middle with routes that run underneath so that he doesn't get depth. Then you throw it over the top, and boy, what a successful play that was.
And the lead is down to a field goal now.
Needed. I thought he had the win. He was so confident.
Just a 4-play drive that time. And it was finished off by a touchdown by the New York Giants.
Gotta put up a block.
After the touchdown, it's Robbie Gould now to kick it away. And out come the Dolphins now.
Yeah,
and they had 3 points last time, but they didn't want 3 points because they were well within range of scoring a touchdown. We'll see if they can do better now.
I'm with you on that one. Let's just go ahead and be frank about the whole thing. The only one happy about the 3-point
The kicker.
Exactly. He put it through the post. That's going to help him in contract time. But that offense, they're thinking, let's get in the end zone this time.
I don't know if that helped him at contract time. You could have kicked that one through.
I don't know about that.
Toe bash.
I don't know about
Toe
that.
bashed it.
Super toe.
Now a first down throw, Tannehill. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. It'll be a loss of 10. And it'll bring up second.
Well, so much for setting the tone of the drive offensively. Giving up a big sack that loses that kind of yardage, not a great start.
They come up in an offset eye. To throw on second down is Tannehill.
Oh, wow.
It's caught. Still
Dude,
right side.
that block, I jumped the one guy and
there,
the other guy
13 yards as they
undercut
get
me
closer for
as I'm
third down.
crushing him.
I know many people like to throw to the tight end, maybe in a little flexed out
I
position because he
so
creates
close.
mismatches
My
with his
fucking
size.
right
The slot
guard.
receivers do the same thing with their quickness, their speed, and their route running savvy.
My right guard.
And on third down, a nickel formation here defensively. Throwing on third down, Tannehill. And he
No!
couldn't hang on
Yes!
to it
Drop
through
that,
the
bitch!
contact. Incomplete.
After watching him drop that slant, I can hear my old coach's voice ringing in my ears right now. You can't run with the ball until you catch it. Trying to get those rack yards before he secures.
Take a leak. Really bad. I was about to do that when I got up just a second ago, and then I didn't for some reason.
A kind of element of we're all in this together, but then it couldn't. And he's got a following wind in the sense that the Saudis have welcomed him here, the Saudi host, the Saudi government, the royals, they like him. They think that he's on the right page. They welcome American power in this region. That may not be reflected down at street level everywhere, but genuinely Saudis are pleased that he's chosen this country. But this is a very sensitive thing. So
Yeah, I know.
the pomp and ceremony you're seeing there, the bagpipers and the red carpet, there is still a pervasive sense here at street level that America, and by extension the West, is in some way anti-Islamic. So this speech is going to be gone over word for word. And there's a little bit of an element of deja vu here, because President Obama gave a landmark speech in Cairo in 2009 in which he hoped to reset that relationship between Washington and the Islamic world. There were high hopes from that, leading to big disappointments.
I was dying in bed the first night, or one of these nights, and then suddenly it got cold out again.
I know. It actually.
I needed to put my window fan in.
Okay. My apartment will it gets pretty cool. Like you can get if it's windy outside, but if it's not, you don't get anything. But I mean, the other day during the week it was so hot, I'd get out of the shower and I was sweating my ass off. And then today, by the time I left, it was fucking 50 something.
Here's Matt Darr now, as he'll punt it away for the second time. Here's Beckham. So possession goes over here on the punt, and the offense will take over with a new set of downs. And the Giants ready to come out now, and they're going to need another score. Got one last time, but still down here.
When you're playing catch-up, every possession becomes crucial, doesn't it? It's vital. Get back out on the field, punch in the end zone again. They know it's not easy, but what they do have going for them, they did score the last time. They think they've got a good formula working.
And what about the defense?
First!
Now you're just saying to yourself, okay, we gave up a score last time. What adjustments do we need to make to slow them down now and get the ball back for our own offense? Is it more pressure? Is it more zone? What do they have to do? They're trying to figure that out themselves.
We'll see if they can figure that out right here. And let's see what the defensive coordinator may have up his sleeve here to try to get this final last stand and win this football game. Manning now on first down, eluding the pressure right. And this is Shepard on the catch. Give him 9 there on the first down completion.
When you see zone defense and you know you've got a drag route on as your primary call, you've got to be really careful as a passer about how far you let your guy go, because he might wander into some tough coverage.
The offense certainly looking to score some points, but they also need ball security here late as we get down to the final moments of this one. Now Manning throwing on second down. On the move to his left. Caught. It's Cruz left side. And he'll go down shy of the 40 at the 41.
On any given pass play, you never know exactly where your exit points are going to be. On this play, it was flushed to his left, still on the run, able to accurately throw the football for a nice first down.
2 minutes to go in Super Bowl 51 from Houston. We're back to perhaps crown a champion after this. So it's Giants football here as we welcome you back. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. Now a play fake here on first down. They'll roll him out right. And he finds a man with a crossing route. And he gets this one all the way down inside the 15. Looking to speed things up here, going with some tempo. Back to throw. Out to the flat. That's complete to his running back. It's a loss of a yard there, and now second down.
If you're a selfish player and you're throwing the ball, you're cool with the completion. Maybe not so cool with the yardage loss, though, huh?
Yeah, you went backwards on the yardage. It kind of works like a sack for the defense there.
Yeah, it's a really big play for them, right? Able to figure it out, sniff it out, and finish it off.
Back to throw.
Oh, what?
There, a nice hit, jars the ball free, and brings up third down.
Slants are so tough to cover because everything happens so fast. But sometimes it happens too fast for the guy catching the ball because all of his movements have to be quick off the line of scrimmage, and then all of a sudden the ball's right on top of you. And maybe he got a little bit ahead of himself there.
Yeah, a lot of times coming in with good pace, and he dropped it. Offense needs 11. Have to think pass here on third down. They'll look to throw. And he can't get a throw.
Yeah.
He's taken down. What a huge play at this point in the game.
Well, when defensive coordinators game plan to put pressure on a quarterback, they often want to use blindside rushes, and that's exactly what they did there. The cornerback gets to him and drops him.
Gold is able to put it through, but there is a penalty marker down. They might be forced to try this one again.
I mean, I did, but I didn't mean to bring it.
Oh, and you just can't do that. 15 yards on the roughing the kicker call.
Absolutely inexcusable. The kicker's in a defenseless position, and he just gets taken out.
They'll send Beckham alone to the left side. He'll look to throw. That's going to be caught at the 10-yard line. Give him 9 there on the first down completion. Now hold everything here. We're going to get a timeout.
I tried to dive.
Just their first. They've got 2 more to use in the final stages.
Slow to get there, and he didn't make a dive at all.
They come out here in the eye. Now Manning going to give to his fullback Whitlock. And he'll be brought down right on the edge of the goal line at about the 1-yard line. Now whistles come in by the offense. That'll leave them with just 1 remaining in this 4th quarter of play. And a new set of downs here after picking up the first.
Come on now!
It's a sneak, and he's
no!
Touchdown! It's likely the game winner here in the closing stages.
Did you see them hold up 4 fingers at the start of the fourth quarter?
They were ready.
They were definitely ready. They may or may not have done that, but they certainly played that way. The fourth quarter has belonged to them, and now the lead belongs to them as well.
Gold to add the extra point.
I'm starting to get worried you're going to go outside.
And that will make this a 4-point game. So that one a pretty time-consuming 10-play drive. It was capped off by the quarterback sneak for 6. After the touchdown, it's Robbie Gould now to kick it away. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. He's back to throw. Now a desperation throw deep downfield. And that's caught inside the 30. Now hold everything here. We're going to get a timeout by the offense. It's just their first. They've got 2 more to use here in the final stages.
Well, you can't kick it.
I mean, I got to go to the end zone, but I mean, shit.
So the offense takes the timeout, and they are back out and ready to rock. And they're going to go soft on the corners. Tannehill now to throw. He's going to let it fly. And incomplete. So no miracles here on the final play. And
Super
this
Bowl
game
goes
is
to
over.
Giants!
And the New York Football Giants are the toast of the
Both.
National Football League. They are the Super Bowl champs.
No, you didn't. That's like Hillary had Donald Trump. And then Comey came here some bullshit. They blame him. But no, you were the loser, bitch.
He had something to do with it. You know it.
He had something to do with it?
Yeah.
What?
You don't think that when he pretended like there was new information?
Pretended? There was new information.
There was new information on
Hillary
election day.
Clinton,
That he came. What was the
Clinton.
new information on election day? What was it?
The new information was that they found a treasure trove of Anthony Weiner's emails.
Right.
And so there was a great possibility that there were 30,000 emails that were lost because
But I mean,
Hillary
so they
Clinton
thought
wiped
maybe
her soldier.
there was a possibility that maybe Anthony
there
Weiner
was-
had a connection
so-
to her.
No, Anthony Weiner did have a connection to her.
They didn't know that. They don't know that.
Yes, they knew that was on
No.
the emails. There was
No.
so many emails of her and forth going back and forth between the
There
there definitely
none
were,
of those
but
emails. No, there were emails
They
between
thought
them.
they were going to find the emails, the other emails
They
that were
thought
got
they were
deleted.
going to find some.
Yes.
But they didn't actually find anything.
That's not what they said, though. They didn't say that they found something.
Right.
So if you took them to say that there's a
I didn't take them to do anything.
If you thought that
If
meant,
you don't think that had an impact, you're dumb.
what impact?
You don't think that had an impact on the?
Everyone
how the
already knew that Hillary was.
No,
Everyone already knew Hillary Clinton was a flying scumbag when it came to her data. You are
wrong.
You think that
people
what?
are so dumb.
You
dude,
think
they don't
that
know.
you think that people thought she was guilty then?
I think they were like, oh god, it's gonna go on forever. It's gonna keep going on. That's all. Nothing's ever gonna get done because she's just gonna keep being investigated. Yeah, I do think people thought that. Yeah, I do.
No, Greg, that was not even. That's not it. If anything, it was that
it's
they thought that she was
it's
guilty.
fine if you want to hate
It's not
Hillary
that-
and
it's
think
not
that
they
she's
thought-
guilty. But if you don't think him releasing it on that date I mean, it was
It was a week before. It was not even like there was time for people to fucking figure this shit
a week
out.
before. He didn't. It wasn't a week before. He said that information the day of the election.
No, it wasn't the day of the election.
Yes, it was.
It was not the day of the election.
Yes, it was. Dude, it is not all. It is not all about how Hillary sucked. That did happen.
Dude.
That did happen.
Well, all I know is she's the dumb bitch who was getting investigated, and it was her own fault. It's like, how do you blame? You're blaming the police for investigating a crime.
Right.
That's what you're doing.
For a 17th millionth time, yes. If you didn't find anything the first 7 times.
What do you mean they didn't find anything? You don't think they found something?
Dude.
Like, don't you think that was what contributed to her? To people not liking her?
She lost.
Exactly.
I understand.
But that is part of what made her lose.
Right.
Not Comey doing it. Her being a dumbass with her data, hiding a fucking server in her thing, and then wiping it.
That's fine.
That's what caused her to lose it. She has to take responsibility for that. Like, you don't want her to be responsible for that?
But what do you mean she has to take responsibility for it? She should come out and say
that she lost the election because she did that shit.
What is with you and Donald Trump? The election's over. Let it go. It's done. Why did she have to say anything about the election?
I did let it go. You're saying that Comey caused her to lose the election.
I didn't say that. You're saying that he had
contributed.
I said you really don't think that had anything to do with it?
It had nothing.
You think it had nothing to do with it?
She lost because of her own personal responsibility.
That's completely wrong. That's completely wrong.
She is the one who did all that stuff.
And he put that information to her in the election. That is like half of why they were starting to get elected.
The information is about her. She's the one who did that stuff. Like, if she wouldn't have done that stuff, there would be nothing to talk about. Don't you think there's a problem?
There was nothing to talk about.
The server and all of the emails that she deleted.
Nothing happened.
Her deleting emails is something to talk about. What is on those emails? That was what Comey was saying.
No, that's not what he was saying. He was saying that he found a connection. Right.
I think I found other emails that were deleted. Right. Because why were there deleted emails?
He didn't find any emails.
But why? No, he did. He found all these new. Because
no, he didn't.
You don't understand what happened, do you?
No, he didn't. You don't understand
Anthony
what happened.
Weiner.
You just hate Hillary, and you're still trying to prove how she should lose. She already lost.
Exactly. No, you're trying to shift the blame from her to Comey.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you were.
Okay, if you don't think that, it doesn't matter. We can go over this a million times. If you don't think if you think that had nothing to do with it, you're dumb.
The responsible person was her doing that caused all this change in action.
Doing what? What is she being charged for doing?
She deleted a bunch of emails. So
then why didn't Trump put her in jail?
All of that stuff was incriminating, don't you think? Why would she have deleted that stuff? You know that was incriminating emails that she deleted.
Right.
Right?
All that information was already known.
And
people were making a decision.
Let's take some personal responsibility for what she did to cause all of this controversy.
Okay.
If she didn't start the change,
Stop saying that
if she didn't do that, there would be
right.
nothing to have talked about. Just because the guy said, Anthony Weiner also, that's the other problem, is that she kept her fucking Huma on the campaign. She let Huma date Anthony Weiner and continue to be with him after you knew what such a scumbag. He's right now being charged right now. You know that, right?
Who?
Anthony Weiner. He's in court right now for talking to 15-year-old girls.
So I don't understand how what is that? I mean, making this false connection that there was some illegal stuff going on because she had emails with Anthony Weiner?
No, because Anthony Weiner had a whole bunch of emails that they thought were lost because Hillary deleted a bunch of emails.
And when they found them, his server?
They were supposed to go through them. That's what they had time to do. That's all they said they were going to do.
Okay, well,
they were like, we found all of these other emails.
Well,
we need to go through them, and maybe we don't know whether there was. That is what actually happened.
Dude, how can you say that him saying something might happen that didn't actually cause any further...
Because
there was no further...
is the FBI investigating shit. He's not the fucking person running for office. There were 2 people who ran for office.
Are you fucking... You don't really fucking believe that. You don't really fucking believe that there was no GOP connection to why that was released. You think he did that on his own because he happened to find it on those days. That is bullshit.
You think that he was a GOP planky?
You are
he was obviously...
so...
Dude was obviously very...
Then
why is he investigating Trump and getting fucking fired? That's not what he does.
That has nothing...
That's not true. That's not it. You think that
that's fine.
because
If you trust him, that's fine. If you trust Comey that much, I don't. If you think that he's,
I don't trust anyone in the government that much. But
no, you actually only harp on Hillary, who's not in our government.
Are you thinking that
of all the people lying right now, you're still talking about Hillary?
Do you
and
think
why
that
she
do you
lost?
think that his motive was that? No, we were talking about Comey. But do you think that his motive is that to release that? You thought his motive was actually to impact the election? Do you think that's why he talked about that stuff?
Yes.
And you thought that he released that at that time specifically to try and sway the election against Hillary?
Yes, absolutely.
That's what you think?
Yeah.
But dude,
it's pretty factual.
No, it's not. It's not at all.
What changed between the day before when every pundit picked Hillary to win? Everything had been studied, said she was going to win. What changed?
Nothing changed. Everyone was wrong about this election. Donald Trump was a total fucking...
You're
thought
still
she was gonna win
talking about Hillary.
Dude.
You're talking about Hillary right now. All the stuff that's going on, you're talking about Hillary's emails.
I'm talking about Comey. Yes.
That's why it affected the election, because everyone thought
because she
people would
did
still
that
be talking
shit.
about the email.
Because she did that shit.
That wasn't severe enough for her to even get in trouble.
Because they couldn't find the stuff, dude. That's like saying, so you think a criminal that gets away with it, they're not criminal because no one found something on them?
No, I just
you don't think that
them anymore.
You don't think
not anything. They have nothing to do with anything. So who cares?
But Al Capone, you can't say that he wasn't like killing people just because they never charged him with them because they charged him with tax evasion
right.
instead of charging.
If Al Capone was running for an election, and everybody knew how terrible Al Capone was.
Well,
if the day of the election somebody said another terrible thing about him, it would have an impact.
They didn't say another terrible thing. What did he say that was terrible?
Dude, I don't know. We have to go back to that tweet he said insinuating that there was new information. He insinuated there was new information.
No, he didn't. He insinuated that there was they just found a bunch of stuff from Anthony Weiner and they needed to go through it because there was a chance that they haven't had time to go through all that information.
Dude,
but there could be something in there.
That is not what he said in 40 fucking characters. That is not what he said at all. We gotta find it.
Well, you find it, because I'm pretty damn sure. Because
I think that Hillary lost the election, and the Democrats lost the election.
Why don't you blame Anthony Weiner and Huma for that?
I blame a lot of people, but to say he had no impact is naive and wrong. It's wrong. It's simply wrong.
I don't
to say that had no impact.
Well, why would his saying that have an impact? I don't understand that. Like. People at that point already knew.
Mike, people aren't informed at all.
Whether or not Hillary Clinton, you think they weren't informed by that point that most people hadn't made up their mind? Suddenly,
I don't think
mind
people were
changed?
informed. Have you ever
that
watched?
Swayed your opinion.
When this stuff is going on with Russia, Fox News is not. If someone's only watching Fox News, they'll never say that.
You think that someone on that day was like, "Oh, now let me change from Hillary Clinton to Donald Trump, or from Donald Trump to Hillary Clinton"? Because you have to be a wackadoodle to like either one of those people.
Or they didn't vote.
And when you actually are wacky enough that you vote for one of those people, then you are already so far on one side or the other of that whole thing that little Comey thing would not have impacted someone's vote. There was that many people who were going to vote for Trump anyways, and that's why he fucking won. But nobody thought that he would do it because nobody
low turnout for Hillary.
Also, because a lot of people didn't really think that he was capable of winning, so they wanted to vote. It kind of like Brexit, where people voted, they didn't really mean that vote, but they also weren't going to fucking vote for Hillary. You know? They were like, I can't bring myself to vote for her. So.
That's not how it was, man.
That was how it was part of it, dude. Nobody really knows what happened. That's why it's so fucked up. Because everyone...
Right, but you know for a fact that didn't have an impact.
I think that is... Because when you look at the outcome of Monday morning quarterbacking against it, you realize kind of what...
No, you're just saying that it's her fault that he was able to do that.
It is her fault she lost. It's the Democrats' fault for nominating her, and it's the entire...
Comey
is not... He's a goddamn FBI person. We're like, fuck. Well, if you're getting investigated by the FBI, how the fuck is that not your fault?
That is not...
Do you think she was completely innocent? Is that what you're saying?
Why do you keep? I don't know.
Is she innocent or not?
That is not the question.
That is the question.
You said
so if
you
it
don't think
impacts,
Kami had an
so because
impact.
because she is guilty and because people thought that she was guilty.
I don't think that what he tweeted about has anything to do with her being guilty or not guilty. I think it was just done to affect the election. Yes, that is what I think.
Talking about her wiping stuff and then
That's
maybe
not what he
finding
said.
her emails.
That's not even. He didn't say. I might have found Hillary's emails.
He said we might have found all of this new.
No, he insinuated there was a connection between Anthony Weiner's computer emails
There
and hers.
was,
and there wasn't.
there was a connection. It wasn't that there wasn't a quite connection. It was that are these the lost emails? Because now there's another like 30,000 emails or something that they had to go through. Because once they arrested Anthony Weiner, then they found this entire new computer with all of these other emails on it. So they were like, hey, have we gone through these emails or not? That's what happened.
Have we gone through?
And so it's like you can't blame him because they had to do their job and look at shit.
Are you serious? You are like Mr. Anti-Government, but yet you think this clean-cut FBI director is just playing it by the book. He's just doing his job. Get a clue.
He was doing his job. That's why he was investigating Trump the same way. What do you think he was doing that for? He was doing that because he wanted to put Pence in office? Is that your conspiracy on that one too? Because why the fuck would he be trying to get rid of Trump if he wanted to put him in office to begin with?
How was he trying?
He
to
was
get rid of
immediately.
Trump? He just didn't say.
Not even immediately. What if it came out? What if
loyal?
it came out that he was doing the investigation before then, even before the election?
You know what? It doesn't matter if he was doing her job or not.
He was
It
investigating
impacted
both
the
of
election.
them.
His tweet insinuating that happened impacted the election. Yes, it did.
That's like saying that someone pundit talking on the news impacted the election, right? And Rachel Maddow impacted the election.
Well, I'm sure Rachel Maddow did impact the election, but not on that
But
particular
it's like,
day.
come on, you're gonna push that off and someone's voting on that.
I guess I don't understand when I was
There
saying
are
that,
people.
when
who are
did I say
responsible.
Hillary wasn't responsible for losing?
You said that Comey's impacting this. It's not really
It did impact it.
No, that's
I
like
don't understand.
that's like saying me. Fine, then it impacted me that fucking Dell sold me a computer because then I was able to get information on it, and that Apple impacted the election because they sold you a phone and now you looked up Facebook and you got fake news on it. So now Apple's to blame too. Or they impacted it though.
That's a pretty big leap. Though.
No, that's exactly the leap that you're making. Trying to say Comey had such an impact on the election.
Why did he?
It's like saying Apple had such an impact on the election.
When ever has an FBI director tweeted out stuff that he was investigating?
When was the FBI ever tweeting before these elections? In George Bush, there was no Twitter. When Clinton, there was no Twitter. Lincoln, you think
that's
you
the
think
only
that
investigation? How come we don't hear about any? I didn't see him tweeting about these other things, the other stuff he's investigating. Is that the only thing he was investigating the whole time? How come he never tweets about that?
That's part. Well,
why was that tweeted out at that time then? Why don't you tweet about every investigation you're doing? And why was it so vague? Why was it like making you think that there was a connection that wasn't there?
Because
there was nothing there.
Congress was telling him basically, we need you to do this and investigate this stuff. Right. And so he was communicating with them. There's all this new shit.
Right. I completely agree with you.
Yeah,
Congress was pushing him to investigate it and to make a connection.
Yeah, the Democrats were in charge of the Democrats.
No, they weren't.
Well,
they weren't. I mean, they weren't, and no, dude.
By the tweet, God damn it, because it happened a week before the election. I'm pretty sure.
No. Either way, to think it didn't have an impact, I don't know how that even makes sense. Like an FBI director right before said he acted like there was gonna be a new investigation into the president, which there wasn't.
There was. They looked through all of that new information to find out whether it was there.
And they found what?
They found that all the deleted emails weren't there. That what they had from Anthony Weiner did not include.
Had from Anthony Weiner made no connection to showing what Hillary had done.
Yes,
it made no connection to any illegal...
It made all the connection to show that she deleted so much shit that they couldn't find it. All the missing emails.
They couldn't find the missing emails through Anthony Weiner, and so that doesn't make any sense.
No, they couldn't. The emails
were missing.
The emails that Anthony Weiner had, some of them were already in the system.
Right.
Right. That's the same emails that Hillary Clinton when she was using this server, right?
Yeah.
She was pushing all sorts of emails through this server and out into the world, right?
Right.
So let's say there was 2 million of them. 30,000 of them, she deleted the whole thing. They recovered a good, let's say, I can't tell you the exact numbers, but there was 30,000 of them that are still missing in the world.
I missed that. He didn't tweet about that, but okay.
They did tweet about that. That was the whole investigation, Greg.
Right, I know that was the whole investigation. It was the investigation. It wasn't
why
some
is this
vague
lady
tweet.
keeping the server in her,
so you're still
in her
not
basement?
right. That was already discussed. That's way before we
And you
even
know where
get to
all
that
of that
point.
stuff started with?
Where? I don't know what you. I mean, why does that matter?
Well, because it'll make you even angrier.
Go ahead.
It started with the Benghazi investigation.
Right.
Right? So they were looking into her for that. Found out that, hey, Hillary's been using this crazy email, even though she
Okay,
is
wait. We're getting way off track. We're getting
the
way off
legal
track.
requirement
You're
for
teaching
her,
me stuff that
the
I
legal
knew
requirement
way
for her
before
that
she even ran for
actually
president.
issues out to, she
Right.
specifically
Okay, so
told
that's
other people
irrelevant.
to do.
I already know all
Why
that.
is that irrelevant?
I already know all that.
That's her breaking the law.
I understand that. Okay. And so
her guilt of doing that is what caused her to lose the election. By Comey calling out something that she did.
No. He didn't call out something that she did. He vaguely said there may be something, which there's no...
They may have found the missing emails. They're still missing. That's what she did. That's her guilt.
What does that even mean? We may have found the missing emails. You didn't find them. You didn't find them. There was no reason to tweet that. You didn't find them.
But there were still missing emails.
What? We already knew that. Why are you tweeting about it again?
Exactly. So why does that impact anything? Exactly what I'm saying.
Because
everyone knew that she had
and I
already
knew
deleted
that.
all this stuff.
No, dude. Because it
they were just hoping that they found the other stuff.
That's fine. All right, fine. It was all Hillary. It was all her. She's the reason why she lost. She's the reson why we have President
They
Trump.
were
Who fucking cares?
You're making the leap connection that those 30,000 emails were the ones that made her guilty. All that he said was that I may have found these missing emails. You're making the assumption that in those 30,000 emails there were, which is likely. I make that assumption too.
He was insinuating
that is why she
he was
deleted
insinuating
those
that he found new information.
Yes.
All he really did
the information was the information that was missing that she deleted. That's the information that they were looking for.
All he really did was just tell us, hey, by the way, that information we were
looking
for, we still don't have it.
By the way, what he said was, by the way, when we arrested Anthony Weiner, we found an entirely new computer of all of these emails that we now have to go through.
But none of them had anything to do with anything.
No, they were trying to match them to the 30,000 missing emails.
No, they didn't.
So there were still 30,000 emails missing.
Right.
That's what she's guilty of.
Right,
That's what made her lose the election.
Right, but why did he tweet about it then? If it was the same information we've already all known.
It wasn't the same information. They found this thing on Anthony Weiner. That's what you don't know. Like, you don't get how that's.
I know what I don't get. What I don't get is why haven't we gotten tweet updates about it the whole time? Why haven't we gotten updates about it the whole time?
If you and me were emailing back and forth,
why is that the first update
you got arrested for some sort of terrorism thing, and then they came after me, and then they found my computer, and then it had the same emails that were you and me were talking,
and like they have 6 different things on you. And the first 5 things they didn't report, but then they reported the one that they maybe found right before.
No, they did report all of this. All that stuff was in the. There was already part of the investigation.
Comey was not tweeting
but then there was an
anything
additional
out about
thing
any of that
because Anthony Weiner didn't bring that information forward at the time when it should have all been made in what's called discovery. None of that happened. So when Anthony Weiner was hiding that stuff, that's on them.
So it's Anthony Weiner's fault.
Yes.
Well, so I thought we were trying to blame Hillary.
That is the extension of Hillary. You're trying to blame Comey.
I am not trying to blame Comey. Comey had an impact.
All of that leads back.
No,
Anthony Weiner and his computer and the emails going back and forth between her campaign and him are her emailing from her own server at her house.
Is it impossible for you to see that more than one thing could impact it? Like, I don't understand how you don't think that.
Is it impossible for you to see that she's so guilty of having that stuff at her house and deleting that?
She's so guilty.
That it's a
I don't
crime.
understand. I just haven't seen her put in jail. I don't understand.
Exactly.
She's so guilty.
You don't think that you know what the legal requirement is, though, right?
But what I don't understand
is that is guilty.
How you don't
right?
think it has an impact.
You think that people, because they're not prosecuted, they're not guilty of something. That's what you think.
Well, technically, they're not.
No, they technically are guilty of it. Our judicial system just hasn't convicted them of it.
No, that's not true. You're innocent until you're proven guilty. You're not guilty first.
No, that is only what our judicial system says. I'm not part of the judicial system. That's not.
You don't know.
You think so? If I go out and I kill you, then I'm not guilty of killing you unless I get convicted, and up until I get convicted. That's not true,
how
Greg.
How would they know you killed me?
I know it. God, the God, or some. It's universally known, factually happened or didn't happen, right?
You're right. There is
so you're guilty or not.
That.
She's guilty. She did.
And you know this how?
Because she deleted we all know it's factual information that she deleted these emails and that she had a server in her house. And as a government official, you have to use a government email address. And you have to have all of that government email has to be stored. That's exactly the same thing that Colin Powell was guilty of, and they let him get away with it, only he was only guilty of it because he used a Yahoo address. He didn't actually use his own personal server at his house. That is guilt, Greg. That's how technology works. She's a silly older person and the reason that she set it up, she specifically asked to have that set up that way so that she could use an email that wasn't being archived, right? That is guilt, Greg. That is part of what your Constitution, all of what you like about your government, that is what it's written into it, what she has to do. As a government official, and she actually sent the emails out to her people below her saying that they must do the same thing.
With her? I don't get it. She lost. It's over.
I have no obsession with her. I'm explaining to you what happened.
I know what happened. I know all that. Clearly, we all knew all that.
You don't. So you think that she's not guilty of that.
That's not what I said.
You just did say that.
I'm saying.
Is she guilty or not?
I don't know.
She is guilty. You don't know that. So I'm explaining it to you because that is what happened. That's factually what she did. She did not log into her own government server. You know, it says like at blah blah blah. You says at.
You want to change the argument, but the argument
that is not an argument.
Comey.
I'm explaining to you what happened.
Oh my God! I know what happened. We all knew what happened. What I'm explaining to you is that it still had an impact.
So she is guilty of that, right?
I mean, I guess, yeah.
Yes. So she's guilty of that crime. Yes. She was being investigated for that.
But I don't understand.
That was what the investigation was.
Like, so if we all know she's guilty, and we know this,
yes,
then why is she not being prosecuted?
The same reason that we didn't prosecute Colin Powell.
Which is what?
Because government has this crazy thing called discretion,
where
they get to choose.
So you mean that the government,
that's why
the country that has investigated Hillary thousands and thousands of times, they don't want to investigate her? They don't want to prosecute her?
Yeah.
So what are they investigating her for then?
They would try.
That even proves even more that Comey's tweet was just a
because it's the same reason.
They're not actually gonna,
same reason that like
do
you not think that Trump, when he became president, he was trying to get Comey to prosecute her?
Do I think that he was?
No, he was. I'm saying factually, he was doing that. That's what he wanted when he came into office.
So why
he was trying to get it to happen?
Why didn't it happen? Why isn't it happening?
It's not happening because they don't convict secretaries of state. That's just not how our politics in America works. Right? Same reason that Nixon was not convicted, right?
Well,
you know that, right?
I'm just surprised that the FBI director would tweet something out about an investigation that he knew she could never be convicted of.
You know that Nixon was guilty of Watergate, right? You understand that? He was guilty. He was never convicted. But he was guilty, right? We all know that. Why was he not convicted? Because Ford pardoned him, so he never got to go to a trial. So the government does that.
Sort of like Hillary.
No, what I'm saying is the government does that. That's what our government does. Like, you don't understand. That's what's so fucked up about our government.
No,
our government does it all the time, even at low-level crimes. It's called giving someone immunity for, like, hey, you just like they do in the blacklist, right? I'll give you immunity. You testify against this person. So you're still guilty of the crime, though. That's our government chooses. That's called discretion. They get to choose who and what they want to actually prosecute. So they don't want to prosecute Hillary because she's a high-profile person. They didn't want to cause more controversy after half of the country. They thought that the country was already on edge enough.
So the FBI director just said that just for shits and grins because he knew she wouldn't be prosecuted.
No, because had they found some sort of actual thing of actual guilt, yes, the missing emails. That was the evidence is already there, Greg. But if they found the missing emails that had more incriminating stuff, all they said was, we found more emails. We have to go through them to figure out what's in them. Maybe they match up to these 30,000 emails. Maybe not. Maybe in those 30,000 emails,
but I thought this is an important thing to tweet. I haven't been tweeting about the investigation before, but now I'm going to let it out.
That just happened because they arrested Anthony Weiner, who had this computer. That's what you don't understand. It's all like it matches in the timeline. That's what happened.
So nothing else happened. All these investigations,
These investigations had already been going on.
So
we all knew about it because of that
never
previous investigation.
information?
Then there was no new information because they remember fucking flat nosed dude in Congress. What's his name? Trey Gowdy, right?
It's fine.
Remember him?
I actually don't really care because most of the reason why Hillary lost is because of people like you that didn't vote, and now this is what we have.
That's not.
And now this is what we have.
People voted. You're an idiot.
If you still think that the
more
criminal,
of the country voted for her
Hillary,
than didn't vote for her. It's not because of people like me. Illinois. You think that my impact in Illinois was going to change the election?
I don't think your impact
okay, well then don't say people like me.
It
please.
is people like you.
What do you mean people like me?
People like you that like to just tell everyone what's going on wrong in the government, but have no part in any of it. So
you
fuck
think that
who
you
cares?
have a part by
no.
pretend voting?
No, I didn't say that. That has nothing to do with it.
Oh, I don't go pretend vote, so I'm the problem.
No, but I don't fucking...
I'm the problem.
I don't just bitch
it's
about
not that Hillary is the
about
problem who lost the fucking
side
election. Let's push the blame onto someone else.
No, you asked me a specific question if I thought he had
I'm the reason that Hillary
impact.
lost. You're right. I'm the reason that Hillary lost. People like me.
Well,
people like me are the reason that Hillary lost.
It had no impact. It was only because Hillary was...
You think that that's the truth. Like that's,
you don't think that had an impact
You're
either?
searching. You Democrats
I'm not searching for anything.
You're so
you
lost
asked,
in this
You asked
world
me
that
the
you're
fucking question. I never said, hey, by the way, Comey's to blame for the fucking election. You said, do you think it had an impact? I said, yes, it did. How do you not think it did?
I don't think that.
Because
I think that everyone. Because there was an entire investigation by Congress. There was so much information out at that time. You're
like, oh, well, Hillary did it, so that's why it didn't have an impact. Well, that is why it had an impact. It doesn't. I mean, none of that. It's actually irrelevant.
No, we all already knew that she did it. That's what I'm saying. Like, how did that? If that changed your mind, that you're an idiot because you didn't already. You didn't already know that.
No, people don't.
There would have been an entire congressional thing. They knew all about it.
I bet you could find.
It was the fact that
a million people
Anthony
that don't
Weiner
even know she was ever investigated
that day.
I'll bet you people don't even know she was. There's millions of people in this country who don't even know Hillary was ever being investigated. You think that everyone already knew that? No, you're wrong.
The people that
people
went out,
do
the
not
people,
do that.
Yeah, the people that don't vote, the people that go to the ballot box and vote, they knew that Hillary had been investigated, knew about the controversies going on between her and Trump.
And then when it came up again,
just like
it's never going to stop.
Do you think that the people that anyone that went into the ballot box didn't know about Trump's pussy comment? Do you actually believe that?
No, I mean yes, I do think there's a lot of people who went in there without knowing he ever made that comment. Yeah, totally, 100%. A lot of people. Are you serious? What world do you live in?
What world do you live in that you are that uninformed and yet you're gonna take the effort to go make something as a choice like voting?
No, they don't. That's the whole point.
No,
they didn't.
That's not true.
They didn't make the effort. You're right. They didn't.
But yet they knew all the stuff about Hillary and they knew about Comey's tweet. That's just so crazy. It's just so crazy. They didn't know any of the stuff about pussy that was all over the news, but they knew about the crazy one tweet thing. Like, it's just, dude, you can't have it both ways. Come on.
You actually can't have it both ways because people don't pay attention from fucking the end of 2006.
But they paid attention one day beforehand to the one tweet that came out. But they didn't pay attention.
The one tweet coming out saying they were investigating.
Which was bigger, the pussy comment or the tweet?
Really? Which do you think is more? The FBI director saying you're being investigated?
Dude,
or the pussy tweet? The pussy tweet.
It's not about what is actually more impactful, but what is more entertainment value is what was going on. The pussy comment had way more retweets and blasts and all over the news and replayed on every different channel, entertainment stations.
I mean, it didn't have an impact on the election, though.
Whoa.
Why would a tweet have an impact on an election? I mean, obviously tweets don't have an impact on the election. You said Comey's tweet didn't have an impact on the election, so then none of these tweets can have an impact. You mean
like as far as information being out there? But yes, but Trump's the one who did that, so he's the one who's responsible for that shit.
Right, but the person reporting it had an impact, just like Comey.
As much as Apple had the impact on you getting there. It's ultimately him the one that did it.
But that is not. Actually, it's not even. That's not even what I said. Comey had an impact. I mean, he did.
Then Apple had an impact. If we want to get to the minute part of it, but the real part of her losing everything that happened.
Yes, the main part is because of her.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I not once the whole time I've been here have I said that wasn't true.
Comey is not the.
I didn't say he was the number one reason, but he had an impact.
No.
Really?
No more so than MSNBC had an impact.
I'm just surprised.
Fox News had an impact. Or like.
I mean, yeah.
Facebook had an impact.
His tweet probably did have.
Let's blame Facebook for her loss because they put all that fake news out there too.
No one's blamed.
Remember, people did that all the time. They blamed Facebook. Oh, we got to do something about fake news. Blah, blah, blah.
I don't know.
Because you're a dumb bitch who doesn't look up your own shit.
I guess
Fuck you.
I just
That's
hang
your
out
own
with
problem.
Different Democrats than the ones you see on Facebook. Fuck Facebook. I mean,
exactly my point. So let's not blame them and blame everything else. Be like, oh, they impacted this so much. No, ultimately, she impacted her own situation by having the FBI have her investigate her.
Did I tweet this out? How is she not, did I put it on Facebook?
How is
or
that
did you
not,
ask me if I thought I had it?
Ultimately, it's her fault that the FBI was investigating her. It's ultimately her fault.
Okay, good job. You've accomplished it. It was Hillary's fault she lost. No
exactly.
Shit. No shit.
But you're trying to push the blame on Comey.
I'm not. You asked me a question.
You'd be like, Comey impacted it so much.
I didn't say that. You asked me if he impacted it. He impacted it. Yes, absolutely. And I do think he did it to impact the election. Yes, I do.
Bill O'Reilly impacted it, and so did fucking Rachel Maddow. But we'll get all mad at at Comey because he's the one that impacted it so much. Or if he had just no impact or little impact.
That's why you think that it was okay for him to do it because how important.
Because he wasn't. He came out and said, I found this new shit because we arrested Anthony Weiner and he had a fucking computer that had all his emails on it. And Anthony Weiner was hiding this goddamn computer that had all his emails on it when we were searching for those emails that were lost from the beginning.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Right.
Do you think that had a dramatic impact on the
election? Now you're saying did it have a dramatic impact? Yes, I do.
Because if it didn't, then
I do think it did.
It had a dramatic impact.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Well, that's silly.
Well, that's fine. But it really doesn't matter because she lost. It doesn't matter why.
Exactly. It does matter why, but it's because of her. No, it doesn't.
Only you and Trump are still talking about the election.
No, there's a lot of people still talking
about
it. Well, because obviously you're mad at Comey. You're trying to push the blame up on Comey.
They're doing that because there's a clear connection between Trump and Russia, and we already thought that Russia might have had an impact on our election. That is why it keeps. That's why the election is talked about.
That has nothing to do with why Comey was
investigating
Hillary. And that just only proves all the more so that Comey was not trying to fucking just swing the election towards one side.
Oh, it's the crazy liberal Democrats, and they're saying crazy liberal things, and then it just keeps getting worse and worse with Trump.
You do sound a little bit off because you can't look at it from a normal perspective. You can't admit that
you can't look at it from a normal perspective.
You look at it as believe me, I look at how guilty Trump is. I'm explaining to you how they're investigating Trump as well. That's what you don't get. I am looking at it
as a the most annoying fucking thing to keep saying that's what I don't get. I get it. I just don't. You don't get it. I think your interpretation is wrong.
But you have a clear Democratic bias.
I mean, I'm a Democrat, and I think that he had an impact.
You have a total skewed bias on where you come from when you look at things.
So do you. You hate everyone. You hate everyone in government.
Yes, so I'm not trying to say that I hate her more than I hate him. I'm trying to look at it objectively, and that's what I'm saying.
Prove to me that Hillary is such a bad person that's why she lost the election. And
that Comey is not sitting there trying to pick on her and trying to fucking be like Mr. I'm going to come in and steal the spotlight and change the election. No, that's not how it went down. It just coincidentally that they arrested fucking Anthony Weiner. If Anthony Weiner had not gotten arrested that day, there would have not been a tweet.
Right, because they got new information that day.
Yes, there was new information. They found a new computer.
Why was Anthony Weiner arrested that day?
Because he was a fucking creepy motherfucker who was texting with 15-year-old girls.
And they just caught him that day?
Yes!
They caught him that day?
Dude, Greg, you don't... Yes! See, this is what you don't actually understand what happened. That is exactly the timeline that happened.
I don't need to understand what happened. You were asking me if it had an impact, and
that's why you're a bias, because you're not even willing to understand what happened. Oh, my God. You have to understand the full picture to understand what happened.
You don't have to...
Yes, because you're blaming Comey. You're saying that he had this impact, that's why he did it, he released this to try and push thing. But that's not why that happened. It happened because Anthony Weiner.
I don't believe that.
I know you don't because you don't even know the truth.
That's fine.
That's why you don't believe it. That's what I'm
sorry
saying.
that I don't. I'm sorry. I
Look it
didn't
up,
watch
fine,
the
please,
cable
fine,
news to
fine,
tell me
okay,
the truth.
Fine,
You don't actually
fine.
really know.
I will say whatever, but please just go home. Just look up what happened that day. Look up what happened with Anthony Weiner. Look up what's happening right now with him.
I don't care.
He's in court over it.
I already
You do
know all
care
that.
because you're wrong. Fine, then you're factually wrong, Greg. That's it. I mean, you are.
That's
You're not willing to go to learn.
I'm not willing to make your.
You're not
leap
willing to
from one
learn.
thing to the
There's not a
next.
leap. It's actually what happened. You're not willing to learn what happened.
What do you mean?
You're saying I don't need to know it. I don't need to know it. But
No, I don't need
that's
to know
why
it to
you
know
have,
if it had an impact or
That's
not.
why you have
The
a
only
biased
thing-
opinion because you don't actually know what happened.
No, it's not.
You're unwilling
That's
to
not why it's a
educate
biased
yourself on
opinion.
the election. I
No,
mean,
it's not.
you're just as bad as those voters.
No,
that,
you're
that
just
you
saying
think,
it. You're
saying just as bad as
No,
those
you
voters
just want
that
to
you
say
think
it didn't have
don't
an
know
impact
anything.
because you're
They
saying
get one piece of
you're
information.
saying Hillary
You're
was
not
guilty,
willing to
so
go home
that's
and do
what
the
matters.
research.
No,
Okay.
that doesn't make any sense.
You should have known this stuff. You should have known this stuff if you were going to
Like,
be a
even
voter.
if you're all 100% right, it still had an impact. And I didn't bring this up. I didn't even.
Fine, but I do want you to go. But you do have you think that the reason that this investigation was going on was some thing with Comey being just because you want to believe that's what happened, but it's not true. If you actually looked at the timeline, you would be willing to investigate what was going on too, and understand how yes, that day was what happened when they arrested Anthony Weiner. That's when they found this stuff. So that's why that tweet was made. It was not because he was trying to sway the election because he was trying to be a Republican. It was because they arrested you. And had that dude not been arrested, there would not have been a tweet. You think he would have tweeted about new information that magically wasn't there? Because Congress had fucking been all over that investigation already. Because there was new information. The fact that they found a computer that was totally unknown prior to that date. And when they arrested Anthony Weiner, they found it. And then they needed to go through it. That's what they were talking about. That is exactly what happened. So if Anthony Weiner wasn't arrested that day, then they wouldn't have found a new computer with all of these emails that could have possibly matched up to the missing 30,000, 40,000 emails. You're telling me, right? But at that point, you should be blaming Anthony Weiner for his impact on the election as much as you should be blaming Comey. Because Anthony Weiner is actually ultimately more responsible than Comey in that situation, right?
No, actually, if I was blaming someone, it would be Hillary because she was being investigated, which you've already covered. But to say Comey didn't have an impact is just naive.
Who had more of an impact on the election and what pushed it around? Anthony Weiner is ultimately more responsible for pushing the election around than Comey because Anthony Weiner himself was the one who is guilty and is about to be found guilty.
See, that is what it is. Because Hillary is guilty of it. You don't care how the information was preoperative exam to determine if you're
was released legally.
Depending on the results of your evaluation and eye exam, you and your surgeon will choose the LASIK option.
I don't care if it was released legally.
It doesn't matter if she was guilty. It still has an impact. It doesn't not have an impact.
Yes, but Comey, you're saying that Comey was the one who had to make the impact, but ultimately he's not the one who's responsible for them investigating. You're saying that he had such an impact on it, and you have to say that Anthony Weiner had such an impact on it, and Truman Aberdeen had such an impact on it.
Type in where you want to go, and with 2 clicks, select your check-in and check-out dates, and search.
That they arrested Anthony Weiner.
All the hotel rooms, and meet your search criteria, and find a room
That was
that's
what
ideal.
just.
Trivago shows you all the different prices for the exact same room, and that's how you can be sure that you'll find your ideal hotel for the best price. Hotel Trivago.
You don't understand what happened. So you don't think that there is a chance that could have happened because those things happen.
His actions during his first 100 days in office are affecting people and policies around the globe.
But if you actually knew how it went down, you would understand.
We're going down the 100 days to keep you across the stories that matter.
is changing in every aspect of modern life, from its surging economy to its innovations in technology, its world-renowned transport system, and its vibrant culture. We'll see how China faces the challenges of the future whilst preserving the traditions of the past. Tales from Modern China on BBC World News.
We have a political climate which is, emerging right now in America. Some people say that our leader is learning on the job and he should have understood what the job was before, but I have to tell you, Kennedy was learning on the job too. His first 100 days was not easy. He had the Bay of Pigs, and he had a lot on his plate to figure out.
Sunday's missile test was North Korea's most successful yet, according to experts. It flew some 700 kilometers, landing in the sea west of Japan.
Stories of success, stories of failure, stories of strength, stories of corruption, stories of hope, stories of despair, stories of optimism, resilience, achievement, triumph. Remarkable stories from around the world. Join us for a series of stunning, award-winning documentaries. Storyville Global on BBC World News.
You're watching BBC World News with me, Tim Wilcox. The headlines. Star billing in Saudi Arabia. President Trump meets leaders of 40 Muslim nations on this, the second day of his visit. A focus on the need to confront extremism. And call it off. Brazil's president says an inquiry into claims he obstructed justice should be suspended. Hello, President Trump will call on Muslims to present a united front in the fight against religious extremism on this, the second day of his visit to Saudi Arabia. He'll address more than 40 leaders of Islamic countries in Riyadh. On Saturday, billions of dollars of trade deals were signed between the US and Saudi Arabia. Most significant was for arms to boost the Saudi military. The White House has called it the largest single arms deal in US history. Simon Clemerson reports.
In business, sometimes you have to do the dance. And having won billions of dollars worth of contracts for US firms, Donald Trump is more comfortable celebrating with the Saudis than he might look.
That's beautiful.
It's certainly more comfortable for him here than it is back home, given the furore over his sacking of the FBI director, investigating allegations his presidential campaign was tied to Russia. But day two of this tour could be the beginning of a far greater challenge, as he leaves the world of striking commercial deals he knows so well to try to strike political deals instead. One of his goals is to eventually do what no other experienced leader has managed and bring peace to the Middle East. And this the president who tried to ban visitors from 6 mainly Muslim nations. But the amount of red carpet they've rolled out for him here tells a different story. His tough stance on Iran has won him many friends in Saudi Arabia.
Always the right hand, right? Always the right hand.
If only teacup diplomacy were enough in a region where some disputes stretch back thousands of years, supporters believe Donald Trump's got his own long history as a master negotiator. Today, when President Trump speaks to more than 40 Muslim nations, he'll talk of the need to address religious extremism and intolerant ideology, a message some here may find hard to accept, coming from someone who is such a controversial figure in his own right. Simon Clemerson, BBC News.
Well, our correspondent Frank Gardner is in Riyadh. I spoke to him a little earlier about the risks and potential rewards Donald Trump stood to gain in that speech in a few hours' time.
Well, I think probably in business terms the rewards have already come. It's a kind of upfront pay.